I know where I'm going, and I know where I've been, and know home all the way, and the Galway Bay is calling me. Oh, ay, 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 oh, ay, 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 ay,
Good morning.
Good morning.
I stand in the presence.
Namaste.
Before we begin our formal service, we like to we share with you our celebrations and invitations. So, oh boy, it's Michael Mirdad week. Woohoo! I will be introducing Michael more formally in a few minutes, but let's just send a warm unity welcome up to Michael Mirdad. And today he's going to be speaking on love, what it is and what it isn't. Sound like a good idea? Yeah. And then he's going to be doing a workshop following that, Discovering Your Soul's Purpose. It will be a wonderful experiential experience for you. So, and he's going to be here on Wednesday night, and he's going to be here speaking from the perspective of the Course in Miracles on Thursday. And he does sessions all week. And I didn't ask you, are there still some openings? As far as he knows. There's directions on how to have a private one-on-one session with Michael, in the flyer that you have in your program. Okay. Denise Dennis, want to come on up?
Good morning. I stand in the presence. I'm wearing my fun hat again today. For those of you who weren't here last week, I am wearing this so that you'll be able to find me in fellowship afterwards, because if you look in your programs, there is a gold form that has our Easter plant order form on one side, and the other side is the Easter dedication. And what we're asking you to do is to help us just beautify this whole place and welcome everyone Easter Sunday morning with the beauty of the flowers. We're going to have yellows and whites inside the sanctuary and all around and outside, hopefully. I appreciate your response last week, but we need more daisies. I have some, and daffodils. Last week I got lots of orders for tulips and some lilies and so forth, but we have very few daisies, and we want to have daisies and tulips in the sanctuary. So if that's a plant that you could enjoy taking home with you and honoring someone with, just fill that paper out. And of course, I can always use more tulips and always use more Easter lilies or whatever else you want. I will get it for you, because we really want to make sure that we just are beautiful inside here. So at any rate, please fill that form out. Find me in the fellowship area afterwards, and today is the last day. You must place your orders today, because I have to place our order tomorrow. So you must contact me today. If you don't have your money, you can pay me next week. Okay, thank you so much.
I like how she said that. Today is the last day also for you to sign up for the art and practice of living with nothing and no one against you. Ann Breyer is back there. It starts next Saturday. This is the most transformational work that we have done since the inception of Unity on the River. It is magnificent work. If you are ready to let go of victim consciousness and move into the fullness of who you came here to be, this is the class for you. Be sure to talk to Ann about it if you would like to have more information. And today is the last day that you can sign up for that. So, next Sunday is Palm Sunday. Everyone will receive a palm. We'll be in the consciousness of moving into higher consciousness, moving into Christ consciousness before we release anything that does not serve the Christ essence. Good Friday will be a very special sacred service. It begins at 7. We will go through the last words of Christ spoken from the cross. We will actually take prayers of those things we want to release or would like to have crucified and nail them to the cross so that they might be transformed. This will not be a wailing service, but it will be very, very sacred. And we'll move into the quiet of Saturday, the day in the tomb, before we rise up, before we emerge as our fully Christed, metaphysically, as our fully Christed beings on Easter morning at 9 and 11. At the 9 o'clock, there will be childcare, and the children's program will be at 11, and they'll have an Easter egg hunt as well. Oh boy, we have a lot. Now, these are just things to look ahead to. Janet Connor will be coming April 7th, speaking on the great paradox of prosperity and doing a workshop on the same thing. And you can sign up out in hospitality. And the life of prayer. Unity was based in prayer. When Myrtle Fillmore had her healing experience, she went into prayer. Prayer is the basic understanding of our connection with the Spirit. So this class will help you to understand all forms of prayer that we do here at Unity: affirmative prayer, affirmations and denials, meditation, visioning, every kind of prayer that we do. And it's a wonderful, wonderful class. To join with others, you'll have prayer partners, we'll be in circles of prayers. You will leave that class fully understanding prayer, and then it's up to you to practice it. So the dates have been changed. It begins on April 9th. It's Tuesday night, 6:45 to 9. There is a fee. This is a class that you can take for credit. There is a fee, and if you have a challenge with that fee, be sure to see us, because we have a congregant who has offered to help with that. I think that's all I have to say about it. So you do sign up, because there are 3 books that need to be ordered. And then when we get your email in the sign-up list, we will send you a link to the workbook that needs to be downloaded as well. Okay. Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.
And I saw at last, a new heaven and a new earth forming.
New heaven and a new earth forming.
And I saw at last a new heaven and a new earth forming. And where once was mourning and crying and pain, is now as saints among sinners, kings among common, is now, beginning without end, at last is now a new heaven and a new earth forming.
A new heaven and a new earth forming.
Oh, and any trace or shackle, now free and untamed, rejoicing, a new heaven and a new earth forming.
No unchanged thought, no unchanged face.
I have sat at the throne of your own becoming, witnessed all that you hide from, comforted your quaking soul. And this I can tell you now. There is no unchanged thought, no unchanged place or face, no familiar crime or casualty in this, your new world forming.
No unchanged thought.
No unchanged thought.
No unchanged face.
No unchanged face.
No unchanged thought.
No unchanged
No
thought.
unchanged face.
In this, your new world forming.
No crime or casualty in the new earth forming.
Let us pray. Truly, truly, a new world is forming. As we release and let go of the old order of things, the one who sits on the throne says, "Behold, I make all things new." We have entered into an emergence process. And the larger part of that emergence is the releasing and letting go of those aspects of ourselves that are not of the Christ, of our egoic selves, when they pull us away from our true Christ essence. We are in a process of transformation, that the ego is transformed in the presence, the holy presence of essence. And so I invite you this day, if you have brought with you any littleness, any fears, doubts, worries, anything that is not of your Christ essence, that is not of the fullness of who you came here to be, to offer it up in a living sacrifice, to be transformed in the sea of no-thingness, that you might stand here fully awake and aware of the gifts that are here for you, the teachings, the learnings, the knowings. We know that, yes, you come here to learn, but mainly we come here to be activated, to be awakened, to remember who we are, and to bring that into the world, to bless the world. This is for you. This is your calling, and this is your soul's purpose. So let us know that truth in the fullness of our hearts. Let us be that truth. Let's get a little bit of that good thing. And so it is. Amen.
Be the light. See the light. Be the light. You got it. See the light. Be the light. See the light. Be the light. See the light. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. Because you reap what you sow, you meet who you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. Because you reap what you sow, you reap what you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Woo! Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Don't tell me that your life is a desert. Somebody gotta quench your thirst. You can dance or pray for water, but you gotta give your love to it first. see the light. You've got to be the light. If you want to see the light. You've got to be the light. If you want to see the light. Because you read what you sow, you mean what you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Got to be the light. Do you want to see the light? You've got to be the light. Do you want to see the light? You've got to be the light. Do you want to see the light? Because you read what you sow, you mean what you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Take a bridge again. To be the light, you want to see the light. You've got to be the light, you want to see the light. You've got to be the light, you want to see the light. Because you reap what you sow, you mean what you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. If you want to receive. Go choir.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity on the River. I'm Reverend Shipley Allenson, and we are a center of celebration and transformation and inspiration and oneness and joy. Are you ready for that? Woo-hoo. Yeah, it's definitely Michael Mirdad Sundays. Everybody have a seat. Wow. I bet you we're going to have a record number of people out there streaming. How are we doing, Jay? Hi, everybody out there streaming with us today. Great to have you all. Let's remember who we came here to be by saying our vision and our mission together. Centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. And the mission for this center, we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. Yes. So, top of the morning to you, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Yes, it's good to see you today. So, today is Michael Mirdad Day. He is going to be speaking about, if you weren't here earlier, to love what is and what isn't. So we are entering into the frequency of love. The chakra color in the 7 chakras is green, and in the spiritual powers, the spiritual power of love is pink. So we are really in the frequency and the vibration of love today. And it is grand to have all of you here today. We'd like to welcome anyone who is celebrating with us for the first time. If you would raise your hand so that we can identify you. We have a flower for you. Keep your hands up. Thank you, so we can see you. We love having you here. We welcome all paths to God. Yeah. And keep that flower with you after the service. Someone from the welcome team will introduce themselves to you, see if you have any questions, and give you a CD that tells you more about us. Thank you so much for being with us. Keep those hands up. Yeah. This is a great day for God. It's wonderful to see all of you here. So we're going to take time to greet each other. Keep those hands up, though. Before you go and jump over the aisles and try to find each other, make sure that these new friends have received their flower. But we invite you to say something a little unusual unless you saw Avatar. When you look at each other, we invite you to say, I see you. I see you. I see your magnificence. I see who you are. I see your possibilities. I see the blessings that you are. Let's greet each other in love. I see you. Namaste. Yes, this is the time when the extroverts would be talking all day, but the introverts sat down a long time ago. So let's get back to... So it is a joy and a blessing to welcome Patty Barkus and Breathe on Me.
Breathe on me, breath of God, love and life that makes me free. Breathe on me, breath of God, fan the flame within me. Teach my heart, heal my soul. Speak the mind that in Christ we know. Take me to your sanctuary. Breathe on me. Speak to me, O Word of God, soft and still inside my heart. Speak to me, O Word of God, comfort, heal, restore my will. Teach my heart, heal my soul. Speak the mind that in Christ we know. Take me to your sanctuary. Breathe on me. Teach my heart, oh, and heal
Patty Barkas.
Thank you, Patty. Beautiful. So it is my joy and my pleasure to introduce our guest today, Michael Mirdad. Michael Mirdad has been a spiritual teacher and healer for over 30 years. He has 5 best-selling books, all of which are in our bookstore, as well as some CDs. He is currently serving as the spiritual leader for Unity of Sedona. Aren't they blessed? And he's doing a magnificent job there. He's been coming to Unity on the River, we think, for 4 or 5 years, somewhere in there. And something magical happens when he comes here. People that we've never met, new friends come. Old friends appear out of the woodwork. We are overflowing with people here. And all week long when he's doing his sessions, people are flooding and knocking at the door. You know, it truly is a whole week experience when we have Michael Mirdad here. So I've been wondering to myself, what is it they like about him so much? Yes, he's cute and he looks like Jesus.
That always works.
But I think there's something else. Michael's teachings are a magnificent conglomeration of unity, of A Course in Miracles, the teachings of Buddha, the teachings of the Christ, healing from trauma, and the delicate subject of sacred sexuality. Is that what it is? No, I don't think that's what it is. Mainly, however, what comes through Michael is a beautiful, authentic spirit. He is a true opening, a channel for the Spirit. He allows the Spirit to speak through him and as him. And you recognize that. I know that's what you recognize, and you're drawn to that. That's why you're all here today. As Charles Fillmore said, people will come from miles around to see you burn on with the fire of Holy Spirit, and I think that's what's happening here. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Mirdad.
Thank you very much. I didn't hear what the thing was that she said. I had, but I'm glad I didn't hear it. Whatever it was. Yeah, what is it that creates that magic, that fire? Why did Jesus choose to teach and be amongst the sinners and such instead of sitting with the Pharisees in constant, communion and constant contact and conversation? I figured the prostitutes and addicts were a lot more fun, I guess. So, well, that's just a theory, so we'll work. It is what it is. So, anyway, the Pharisees, and the priests, and it's too serious. Anyway, so, today I would like to talk about being awake. I know the sound is a little strange, but they'll straighten that out. I'd like to talk about being awake. In part, from what I heard a little while ago, I'm talking about love, what it is and isn't. So I'm sure I'll cover that part to make sure I stick to the rules of the title. But it all comes back to this. We do these workshops. We have these spiritual experiences. We attempt to become healthier people and so on and so on. We even use terms like, I would love to become realized. I would love to experience self-realization. All of it has to do with just being awake. It's all the same, just more conscious. And some of us think, I'm going to meditate until the day I become awake. And actually, this is a day-by-day program. We need to become more awake all the time. How? I'm going to have a spiritual experience that makes me feel spiritually awake, so that I now see everything in a new light. I now understand reality and illusion and so on. And it's really not like that. The awakening can be a day-to-day process, and more often than not, it is. God sends us basically all kinds of opportunities to awake. So we can sit with a spiritual teacher who helps us to awaken. Sometimes we hope that just sitting in their presence will help us awaken, as though we don't have to do anything. But it helps, it raises our vibrations and so on. But to get to one common goal, to become awake. So something is magical about this, and yet it's a practical experience, us becoming awake. Who are we? That's the bottom line. I was here somewhat recently and spoke about mastery, and that seemed to go over well, and we're along the same lines. We have to become awake. We have to become conscious people. So it starts with this. More than anything else, who are we? If we're broken, limited beings, then that's where we're at in our journey. That's where we'll be studying. That's what will attract to us in terms of today's lessons. I'm a broken individual. I need lessons related to my brokenness. If I'm on a 0 to 10 scale and I'm a 3, I can only draw relationships that are a 3, experiences that are a 3. Some of us go, no, I don't believe in that. I want a 10. And it just doesn't work that way. What vibration are you at? That very vibration is what we're going to draw. And we say, well, I don't like that vibration, so I want a divorce. Well, you're just going to get another vibration to marry that's still a 3 if you're a 3. The change is an inside job. So who are we? Not who do we pretend to be, who do we want to be, who are we really? This is the know thyself. So before we can become really self-realized to the level of, I realize that this is a dream, I realize there's a way to awaken and so on. Before we can become a living Buddha, as it were, the idea is a day-to-day process of becoming conscious of myself. Start with who I believe I am and start toward who I really am. Affirm the who I really am constantly, but be aware of the false self that gets in the way. So there's love. The real love is God. We're made in the image of God, and this is the truth. There's a saying I use, know the truth but respect the illusion. So know who you really are and constantly know and affirm who you really are. That's not lying, because it's the truth. But we also have to accept our frailties. We have to watch our addictive behaviors and get to know them. Just knowing they're there isn't what I mean by being awake. There's something else about that. It's knowing they're there, but where do they come from? We can't know where they come from if we don't know ourselves. So know thyself. Know all aspects of thyself. What makes us tick? We want something to magically save us, spiritually save us, without any efforts on our own, without any participation. We must get to know ourselves. It's this self that gets in the way. And so we can't just affirm the positive self. We have to be watching for, be as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. Be aware. Know how to catch yourself when that false self starts to emerge. You start to become reactive today. Find out why. We find attractions in relationships. What love is, what love isn't. Why are we attracted? What makes that so? There is nobody else. The Sufis say there's only one of us here. So if there's nobody else, and I don't mean to be too cosmic, but we're just one in Christ, one in God. We're one child of God. So really, how far do you want to go with the, wow, attraction? Wow, you look kind of nice. Wow, what are you doing tonight? It's just you're talking to. So that's a little out there. And God's going, who are you talking to? Nobody. Yeah. Because there's only one of us here. So how far do you want to take all the attractions and it's just cosmetic, literally and figuratively. It's just dressing. We have a veil, and through the veil we go. I mean, we say it in here, we affirm it, we put it on our bumper stickers, stuff about oneness. Well, if there's oneness, if it's true, then who are you attracted to and who are you blaming? There's only one of us. You're the crazy me. You're the this and that part of me. You're the, that's all. They're just different parts of ourselves. And some people think we're all different expressions of God. No, God is actually not crazy. So we have two us's. The one that's real on this side of the veil, that's one peace, love, joy, and that's forever. It can't be sick. That's why we use affirmation. We're going to just use more intense prayer. You are healthy and whole or whatever. That's not what affirmation is about. Affirmation means I'm going to affirm what really is. Not what I hope is, what really is. So on this side of the veil is the truth. On this side of the veil, which is right here. But on the other side of the veil are people. And they all look separate, but there's only one thing between that which is real, which is the oneness of God, and that which seems separate, which is called illness and lack and issues and so on. That's saying we all have our cross to bear. We name them things. This person is struggling with cancer. This person is struggling with addiction and so on. They're titles. But on the other side, they don't use the same titles. When we visit the other side, when we get to that borderland between those two worlds, reality, which is God, and this world, we have a moment where we have a glimpse, a little further glimpse of the realities of it all. And nobody really cares at that point the things we've labeled. It's, did you learn? Are you more of God? And when you go, well, I would have been, except from, who I was married to. They just go, oh, sorry to hear that. Pull the lever, you drop, and you go and do it again. They're really not that interested in the details. They don't say, I would have been holier if only. They go, if only what? That's all. They just reach for the lever and wait for it. And the angels, they're all like, wait for it. Let's hear this one. This one's going to be good. This one's going to be good. If only, I'm sorry. No heaven for you, but we have some beautiful parting gifts. Tell them what we have. Tell them what we have, St. Peter. Well, you could have been enlightened, but back we go. Lessons. We have a new life with the same family, with the same ex. You're going to be married 15 more times. And it doesn't go away. Why? Because we're failing to know ourselves. Archangel Michael, amongst other things that this angel represents, one of them is the cutting away of illusion. And people just think, Archangel Michael and peace and love and all this niceties they put around this archangel. This archangel is about cutting away illusion. And so that's the sword of truth that this archangel is known to carry. Well, Archangel Michael, amongst other things, is known to be one that is the way that guards the way to Christ consciousness. Christ is the way home. Christ consciousness is our bridge back to reality. But the guardian of the way is Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael says, when you want to awaken the inner Christ, I need to kind of walk along with you to cut away illusions. And so one of the ways it does that, it is always ask questions. Archangel Michael is the part of us that says, why? Who are you? Why is that so? I would like to be spiritual, but really? Why? Why can't you be? What's going on? It's the thing that makes us track ourselves, to look inside ourselves. It makes us clear out the false self so that we can find the Christ. So the Christ is the actual consciousness we want to attain. But Archangel Michael symbolizes the guardian along the way, cutting away that which isn't real. So it causes us to ask questions. So Archangel Michael is channeling through your counselors when they say, and why did you do that? Through your certain steps in your 12-step program that make you say, why? How did I do that and why did I do that? Finding out what makes us tick. We don't just go home, we grow home. It's a state of consciousness that we are or we're not. And when we're not, then we're playing the game of getting into that remembrance. How far are we? How far would you like to be? And some of us, despite our spiritual growth and despite the hurdles and so forth we've gone through, sometimes we love being distracted by more and more things and people and not saying why. I'm not going to make it to church today. I'm not going to get prayer done today. I'm not going to stick with my program this year. I'm going off my program. Why? We have to be courageous enough to look at what we're not to discover what we are. And so in this world, we have all kinds of things to label, people included. The people that seem to be our reasons for not being spiritual, and the people that seem to be the blessings in our life. Even those who represent blessings still have to be brought back here. How did I end up with you? Not, oh my God, I finally got this wonderful partner, friend, teacher, whatever it is, and I cannot. grow without them. I cannot be without them. We, again, are disempowered. So if we want to wake up, we have to bring that sense of self and awaken it. That all I see outside of me is part of me. And people do play roles. God basically helps us to create two kinds of teachers. Those who are here teaching us, like reminders, they give us the right words, the teachers and the authors and whatever. And then there's lessons, teachers and lessons, that's it. Those who can remind, and when you don't get it, then those who will bring the lessons that'll make you remind. I fail to remember by a gentle way, it's called the easy way or the hard way, a book, a comment here today, and you might hear something today, and you go, wow, that was interesting, and you just forget it minutes later. Back into the world, this was maybe your 15th attempt, and you're still not getting it. So the guides, your guardians and such, they're going to go, well, they just seem to not be getting it the easy way. What say we try the hard way? and that's all. And what's amazing is from the other side, with that objectivity, to them, it's all for greater good because it's about you learning. But they're not saying, let's give them the bad way. They're not getting it the gentle way. Let's try a stronger approach. But the goal is for growth. So it does not look like a bad thing. To us, it does because we're being called on something. So in this world, there's people that play the roles, and we can credit them for being our, wow, look at, as long as this person's in my life. But that's not what love is. There's divine love and there's human love. Human love cannot live up to the concept of divine love. The best human love you can have is called unconditional love. And that's not even the level of God love, because the fact that you have to call it unconditional means that there's even an opposite. Okay? There's a level of God love that is beyond unconditional love. But humans typically don't even reach unconditional love. We have conditions on how we will love, where we will love, what we will love, and so on. Unconditional love, though, for humans is our ultimate goal. Of course, ultimately, spiritually, God love. But for now, we can at least learn unconditional love. And all lessons are about getting us to that place. And again, when you're going to be unconditionally loving, it means to love all conditions. And it doesn't mean love them and allow them. I really love that I'm messed up, and I'm just going to let that be. If I really love, then I'm going to love the hell out of myself. I'm going to love away my misbehavings, my self-hurts, and the hurts I bring to others. And we look at this world and we get so easily distracted. Who is that, and what are they about, and what can they do for me? Because ultimately, God's children think that they separated from God. And it seems like there's two worlds, God's real world and then this place where we have all these various people that are either the credits for the good in our life or the blames for the bad. The credits include, by the way, the boss that gives you a raise. Wow, that's a nice boss. Then when they don't give you a raise, they're a bad boss, which is called conditional love. We have to learn to love completely and unconditionally. And then we can learn also to say, through choice, here's what works for me and doesn't work for me. I can love someone unconditionally, but I can also say no to certain behaviors, my own as well as others. So it is all about love, but we get confused and think, if I'm supposed to be loving, then I'm supposed to be allowing of everything. Then we become confused when we get trampled on again. Even Jesus, now and again, said, not today. He sometimes said, no, that won't work for me. They come to arrest him and he said, I'm not in the mood. Go away. When they tried to throw him off cliffs in his early ministry days, he shook himself off and he walked away. That's the same as us being able to say no to certain addictions and people in our lives. But the difference is, and everybody seems to miss this for some reason, unconditional love, true love, means you can say no, but you refuse to hate the person. That's all. That's the difference. You love them, and you can say, well, I do love them. But you're allowed to say no. You're encouraged to say no if something is not congruent with the greater good. You say no and choose not to hate them. Refuse to hate. That's a good action, a good demonstration of unconditional love. So then why are these people in our lives? God, I've been going to Unity now for 3 weeks. They affirm all is good and everybody's at one and peace and joy, and what's going on? We do not know ourselves. There are so many layers of messed upness within each person. There's lifetimes. Even if you could work on the current behaviors, years of building to that point. Childhood issues, if you believe it, past life issues. And even if you're so good and holy that you've worked on all of this stuff, we're one. So now you have to work on our issues too. So there's a bit of a list. Now, you can become very obsessive about it. You can become perfectionist about it and say, okay, I'm going to work on all of these. I got to track them down. Find psychics that'll survey all the past life issues and go work on them all. The good news is, Spirit says, it may have taken you a long time to mess yourself up, but you can correct yourself now. Now, in this moment. How? Because if you center in truly to what now is, and this talk is about becoming more conscious of who we are. Be awake, aware of everything that's happening and why. Not overanalyzing one's life, but being aware. So in this now moment, in this present moment, everything that has been will come up for me. If I learn to heal myself right now, I can recognize if I have past issues, you can bet this is going to happen. It's part of the scheme of things. That as I clear stuff that's come up today, stuff that's still unhealed will come up tomorrow. Anything we've ever got to learn, any lessons left undone, they're going to come up as we clear ourselves. Just like cleaning out something and scrubbing it. The stuff keeps coming up and you're cleaning it out and you're washing it. A swimming pool, a pond, or whatever it happens to be, you're cleaning it. It eventually becomes pure. But it takes the cleaning process. So as we do healing, as we sit with healers, counselors, and such, stuff is surfacing and going. But even as we walk down the street, somebody honks their car at us and we get upset. It is a holy moment, opportunity to heal. What just came up? Well, that person just offended me. What person? And what's the offense? They honked at me. What does that mean to you? It means that I'm mad at them. And why? Because they're being disrespectful. Keep going. Keep going. Well, I hate being disrespected. And that reminds you of what? I've always been disrespected. My family did this. My 15th husband did it. Whatever. Bring it. Keep going. Keep going. You're bringing it up from the past in the present to release the future. So all of these become holy moments. Something very magical happens. And tune into this just for a moment, because the whole universe froze a long time ago when the children of God forgot who they were. The whole universe that's supposed to be following our creative, let there be light. God did it, and then we were birthed. God said, let there be light, and we are God's universe. We are God's universe. We are that light. And then God said, now, do the same. And we said, I'm confused. What am I? Who am I? We forgot who we were. And so the universe that could have been just light and brilliance, the one spoken of in the Revelation, when we hear once again, it'll all come back to reality, where there will be no need for sun or moon and so on. It will be light all the time. It doesn't just mean sunny. It means the light will be present all the time again. And when does this happen? When we reverse this process. When does that happen? In every now moment. We have an opportunity to remember who we are. So in this process, the whole universe actually froze. It was paused and has been waiting ever since. And I mean this, and if you feel this, you'll see what I'm saying just by a feeling inside. The whole universe froze. It went into a pause mode. It became still. And any time one of us decides to become still again and remember who we are, I am that I am. I am as God created me. Be still and know I am God. When we tell the universe that seems to bring us all but God to be still, and know I am God, I'm returning to reality. When that happens, and that's any moment that we decide to say no to that which seems to hurt and control us, we say no to it and step up to a new reality. We're ready for a new life. When we're born again, when that happens, there is intelligence. There is a consciousness in every cell, every particle, right? Every particle unseen, right here in this space, there's particles of intelligence, and they go throughout the entire known and unknown universe. There's intelligence in every particle. And every one of those particles, I know it's hard to believe, every one of those particles, when one of us says, wait a minute, they all and prepare. Because in one split second from now, they might all be recommanded by us taking back our power. And they all get ready, and then never mind. And they all just go, oh. And they all just sit there. And at the very best, if you want to say they're not just sitting in pause mode, they're just sitting in the patterns that we created, and they just keep recreating what we told them to create in the first place, which is a world of limitation. All of this intelligence is waiting for children of God to become again the children of God, but awakened, conscious again. I just had the weirdest dream. And wake up. And then all of this universe, the consciousness throughout it, permeates all of it, says, what would you have us do? Stories of Buddha being in prayer and meditation, trees bowing over his head to shade him from the hot sun or shield him from the rains. The universe will take care of us when we recognize who its commander is. And it's not the little tyrants saying, I command the universe. It means when we become who we are, when we raise our number from a 3 to a 4, 5, 6, 7, the universe will match that. That's all it really means. So we have to learn to raise that number, but we have to own when we're a 3, who made us a 3? We may have created some really hard things, or things may have happened to us that seem to drop our number down and break us. But when can those be healed? Right now. Every moment that we say, hold it a second, I think I'm going to just choose now instead to heal this, we've actually broken through time. Instead of one day this happened to me or one day I'll heal, right now it's all brought to the present and we have an opportunity. It's called a holy instant in A Course in Miracles. The whole universe is waiting for those moments in our lives to wake up. Love as we know it, human love, and getting a raise at work and selling the boat we're trying to sell. We think those are the things that are going to make us happy. And then there's more problems the next day, more limits and more things to accomplish. We have to practice being conscious. And then these things have less power over us. They are only mirroring where I believe myself to be. In this world we look and we say, oh, there's my spiritual teacher, yes, and then there's my wife, ex-wife, or my partner, my new love. Oh, I feel so good. They're not even there. They're just mirrors of ourselves awakening or not awakening. So we have to let everybody off the hook. We will never know even good love on a human level without retiring the false ones. Who are you, by the way? If I think I'm separate from God, that's what I'm going to mirror through my relationships. Then I get mad at them later for doing it. But they're just mirroring the level of consciousness we're at. As long as we forget who we are, we're going to need a what to pretend to be a who to get by. We're going to need fake images of people. When we know who we are, everything comes back together. And we recognize this is all happening within myself. My awakening, my not awakening, is going to be a day-by-day choice. Do you know your soul's purpose? How can we not know our soul's purpose? Do you know why you had 3 husbands or wives? Have you checked? Do you know why? Then how can it change? Do you know why you have a propensity towards this addiction or that illness or whatever? Discovering why. Learning to accept what we can change, of course, and what we can't change. Change what we can and accept what we can't. But are you doing anything about any of it? So God created perfect holy beings that none of this is happening to. But in the dream world, in the world that reflects our misbeliefs, we see it so. All we have to do now, as I'm coming to a close, is recognize it really is simple, seemingly complicated. We have only oneness. But in our world, we look like we have many lives, many bodies, and many days, and many lifetimes. Many of everything. And all you do is take away the veil. You just take away the veil. And all of a sudden, that which looks like separate pieces are one. The veil. It's where we get that word evil. God and evil, good and evil, there's just God and a veil. Remove the veil, and it all comes together again. And I thought I was loving you and hating you. Remove the veil, and it's like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? And I wasn't. I was actually insane, not thinking properly at all. So we have a thinking problem, as it's commonly said. We all have a thinking problem, and it's the belief that we're separate. And there's a way to heal it. We must become more awake. Please, in our relationships, in all our activities, why and what are we doing? And we can sit in this room and say, that's it. I'm committed to a new life. I'm born again on this day. And we won't even make it out of this room without looking around going, what are they thinking wearing that? You won't even make it out of the room. But to feel better, you'll just pretend you didn't think that, or you'll just right back to the old patterns to feel better. But it doesn't work. It's just another drug that numbs to keep us from the pain. Instead, catch yourself and go, wow, I didn't even make it out of the room. Don't tell the person. Wow, I was practicing holiness till I looked at you. And wow, what a great lesson you were for me. No, that only tempts people to fall. Inside, the dialogues need to happen a lot more in here. We need to become a lot more introverted, introspective, and say, wow, what was I thinking? Why? Why did I see that person this way and that way? They're not, they are as God created them. And please, start the day with God. Start the day with God. Believe it or not, you know, we have teachers in the world, we have authors in the world, and we're all here to help you and be healers to one another and so on. Foot reflexologists, counselors, even people that have to come and do the electrical in your house. They're all people that do things for each other. Perfect. But please consider going back in your own time and quiet space and asking Christ. Ask the Holy Spirit of God. Use whatever term is going to fit. But do this. Try asking. Put it out there and say, I would like you to now be my teacher. There are great teachers, authors, but wait, I don't want to settle anymore as them being my top teacher. Not this person, that person, this author. They're just reflections here. I want you, God, to pick for me and or help me choose a personal teacher now. I want Jesus or whomever to now be my teacher. You bring to me what I need to see, what I need to experience. Give me the courage to handle what I'm going to experience. And know that you have that, whether Mother Mary or whatever it happens to be. Call for a spiritual teacher. Don't settle even for an angel. The angels too are here to serve. Call on the highest teacher you know and ask for it to now become one with you, to work with you, to actually enter your mind and start activating all that your mind needs to have, to experience and so forth, to go to the highest level. We all deserve this. We all can go to another level. It's time. I want holy relationships. I want to know my soul's purpose. I want everything ramped up to the fullest. I'm not here to just read a book now and again. I'm not here to just come to Sunday and ignore it the next 6 days. I want to have this on a day-to-day basis. So I close with, start the day with God. I want to be awake. I choose to be awake. Why do I do what I do? Get counselors to work with you. Self-discovery, and don't settle. Know everything about yourself without overanalyzing it. Know thyself. What makes you tick? Slow down. Make eye contact with yourself in here. Who is this person that's speaking? I'm reacting today. Who is that? If it's not God, which it isn't, then who is it and where's that person coming from? And help them heal. Help them heal by being gentle and holding them while they cry inside or with your counselor. Sometimes that's the soft route. And other times just say, get up and move. Enough is enough. Sometimes you have to try the firmer route to help heal that broken self. Try the softer almost all the time first. Love it, nurture it, hold it, let it cry. Other times say, enough. Get up. But I'm afraid, I know. What are you afraid of? Well, we need to cry about an old wound. Let me hold you while you cry. Okay, now you ready to get up? No, I'm afraid. Why? Ask questions. Let Archangel Michael rise up inside and say, why? Well, because I might get rejected. And then it'll say, and what if they do? That's the other half of the healing that says, and why? And why? It dismantles the fears rather than just hold you while you're afraid, which is nice for a while. Sometimes enough is enough, and you say, why? Then what? And you walk yourself through the fears to where there are none left. Then you get up and go. Healing path, soft or firm. God will bring us our lessons one of two ways, the easy way or the hard way. And we can all learn to do the easy way, and should learn a lot more the easy way, because we've been very hard on ourselves. I pray this has made good sense. And I pray that we all understand it's, if nothing else, to hear that part of start calling on the spiritual teacher. Not the spiritual teacher, flesh. Call on the spiritual teacher. And when you do, remember this. Call on Jesus, Buddha, whomever it is. All you're calling on is a part of your own mind to wake up and bring light to the rest of your mind. Another way to say it is, you're calling upon the true higher self, God within, to illuminate all other parts. When Jesus said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do, Jesus was not saying, here I am, Jesus, on the cross. I'm talking to you, Father, over there somewhere, about those people. What Jesus was teaching us when he said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do, what he was teaching us is this. Father, meaning the God within me, rise up more fully and illuminate all the other parts of me that are asleep and afraid. Forgive them, meaning all other parts of myself, because I know not what I do when I'm afraid. It meant calling on God to become fully present to where the other is shined away. It was teaching us. It wasn't a conversation about people and gods. It was about self awakening and shining light through to where there is nothing else. Please take a few centering breaths.
Love is real. Real is love. Love is feeling. Feeling love. Love is being love. Love is touch. Touch is love. Love is reaching. Reaching love. Love is asking to be loved.
Centering in. The song becomes a mantra, and a mantra without words, and it carries us deeper and deeper inside. In this holy moment, we choose remembrance. We choose to be conscious now, awake. We have the right to say we are awake. Yes, it's a blessing and a blessed day when we notice it more and can proclaim it as did Siddhartha, Buddha. But we are indeed encouraged every day. I choose awake. I choose to know who I am, what I do, why I do what I do. In this moment, Father, Mother, God, I make no decisions alone. I pray this prayer as a prayer for my life, and certainly starting this day and every day. I make no decisions alone today. I choose not to make any further decisions, including who I am and what I deserve in my life. The little I that once made these decisions, I say no to this self. I make no decisions alone of my broken little self. Furthermore, all decisions I have made, even would have made, that affect this world, because my thoughts do co-create this world, all of the thoughts I have made or would have made from my broken self that have affected this world and my life, my health, my finances, my growth, my relationships, and so on. All decisions that I have made affecting this world, I now deny their effects on me. I surrender them to you, Father, Mother, God, and I absolutely deny their effects on me, because with their causes gone and surrendered, there can be no effects. I deny the effects of my previous thinking that have affected the finances of this world, the peace, the love, the joy, the oneness of this world and of my life. I say no. And I sit empty and still with the whole universe and all the consciousness throughout. We sit in stillness, awaiting the next moment wherein we are born again. And to complete this being born again process, I now call in your presence, Father, Mother, God, to replace my will. I call in your loving presence. I call in and command this presence within my being. I am filled with the presence of God in the form of, and each can choose differently, love and joy, peace and oneness, joy and abundance, whatever aspects of God we most choose. Solomon chose wisdom. We can choose. But one thing is certain, the presence of God is here now. Hear the words, breathe them in vividly and with certainty. We have the right. We lost our minds, we lost our power the day we forgot to call in the presence of God. And today we reverse that process. And lastly, having called in God's presence, we now have the right, just as we saw ill effects of our previous ego-based, hurt-based decisions, we now get to see the gifts that come from God. We choose your holy gifts, Father, Mother, God, in our lives right now. We call in your presence as love, peace, joy, and oneness, and we affirm that the gifts that come from choosing God as our guide are for us now. These gifts, these natural gifts, pour upon us. In any form you choose, beloved Father, Mother, God, beginning as a feeling inside of us, but certainly even in the manifest world. As what? God says, what would you like? You gave me your soul, I'll give you everything now. Name it. That's what it means in His name. It means in truth of who we are. What would we like? And it's okay if we sometimes say, I need help with this bill or this illness, material things. It's okay. But do not forsake the soul gifts, love, peace, joy, and oneness. Call those in, because if we seek first the kingdom, all the rest will come. See the relationships healing. See the physical ailments transforming. How could they not in the presence of God? Be the presence of God and command them so. We're here, we're back. Let's be excited about that. In this moment, I'm being born again. Not in the reincarnative, old wounds coming back kind of a way, born again spiritually into new heights of awareness. I am as God created me. Be still, world, and know that I am God. It means I'm back. Sorry, but I was sleeping for a while and I'm back. You can now begin to activate the way God wanted you to. I'm back. Start shining light. Start commanding brilliance. And allow people to rise from their crucifixions in life. Let them off the cross. People you've hurt, people you've hated, people that hurt you, people that are sick. It's not the truth of who they are. Look at them, be still and know I am God, as are you. One last minute, silent, and experience this. God is here. Goodness is present. There is only God now. But it's because we've chosen. We've chosen well today. Last centering breath. And remembering that we take this into our day. We sing together in a moment, and we bring this into our day. Let's please commit to not leaving this in this room. Let's bring it into our beings, breathe it into our souls, and take it into the world with us. Today, all week, month, year, lifetimes, past, present, and future. And so it is.
Love is you. You and me. Love is knowing we can be. Love is free. Free is love. Love is living. Living love.
So it is. Amen and amen. And so what I heard Michael say was, "Wake up!" But he said it a lot more nicely, didn't he? Let's send some love up to Michael Mirdad. We are so richly blessed. So at this time, we receive your offerings, your tithes, your blessings, your gifts. But before we do so, I'd like to introduce our chaplains, if they would stand or raise their hand so we can identify them. The chaplains are here for you, whatever you would like held in prayer. They will know the truth for you and hold total confidentiality. And I would like to invite up Annie Breyer. We have, So we have 5 core values that we stand in, and they are transformation, oneness, spirit-centered, joy, and inspiration. Yes. And Annie has the joy rock that she's going to pay it forward.
I have the honor of facilitating this class in living with nothing and no one against us. And I was acknowledged as a joyous spirit at times, and have learned with in your company of being in the class that joy to me, I'm finding, is really a quite quiet, subtle, enduring presence. And I would really like to acknowledge both Joan and Cynthia as my spreading and sharing of the rock. In this case, it's going to be a flashing ring. Would you both come up that I can... for both of you, but to really acknowledge that there's joyous that's flashy and dances in the back, and then there's really joy that's so deep and spirit-centered. And thank you both. You're my inspiration. There you go, to share between you.
We all love getting the microphone. So let's just take a moment to be still and hold your offering in your hand. And I heard Michael say, when we remember who we are, we will have no more fear about how we receive and how God always sources us with everything we need. And so that is our journey of awakening. And so today, if there's any littleness or any fears around your offering, I invite you just to go in and remember the truth of who you are, and that all things are provided in God's glorious manner. Let's say together the blessing of the tithes and offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
I'm afraid in spite of the might of the power of love. Something inside is yearning and emerging to be born. But all that would stop me and all that I know, where I'm obliged with little to show. But on a good day I remember and I feel the whispers of heaven. On a good day I remember and I feel the whispers of heaven and the power of love. rejoice in the light of the might and the power of love. Something inside is yearning and emerging, being born. All that could stop me will suddenly show, where I won't be obliged, but I need to let go. And on a good day I remember and I feel the whispers of heaven. On a good day I remember and I feel the whispers of heaven and the power of love. Stop me will suddenly show, where I am healing any time that I grow. And on a good day I remember and I feel the whisper of heaven. On a good day I remember and I feel the whisper of heaven and the power of love. And the power of love.
And centered in that power, that is love, in that frequency that we create here, the resonant field of love. We know that these gifts, these offerings are infilled with that energy as they go out to do the will and the work of Holy Spirit. And so it is. Blessed be. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, John Davey. Let's see. Thank you, Bev Mitchell, my Sunday service coordinator, and Greg back there on PowerPoint, and Jay on streaming, and Brian Dozer on sound. And thank you. Did you want to say something about Tish and Patty?
I sure do.
Yeah, let's give an acknowledgement.
A couple of special thank yous for people who have really stood for me and for Unity in their generous service of their tithing and talent. And it's Patty Barkus and Trish Ives. They came today to help us fund the additional expenses of Easter for me anytime I ask, and any grateful. And as well, I'm very grateful for Paula Esty, who has been joining us, offering again her time and talent. And to Meg Rain and to Brian Hallisey, who will always step up when I ask them. These are my thank yous today.
All right, then. Bring it on, Patty and Tish. More love than a heart can hold.
It takes more love than a heart can hold to move the waters to the shore. It takes more power than a heart can be. It's more than we need, baby, bigger than we know. But when you touch my hand, I feel more than a thrill. I feel the rush of the wind. Heart can hold more than I And when the day seems like night, oh, baby, feel the rhythm of it moving us along. And there's a place we have yet to touch. Keep moving up is what we live for. But when you speak my name, all the legends come true. Between us. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. When you touch my soul, I feel more than just a thrill. I feel the rush of the wind that turns the world. There's more love than a heart can hold, than a body, more than a soul can hold. Lord, there's more than a heart can hold between us. More than a heart can hold. More than a heart can hold. I don't need a door. Can hold. More than a heart can hold. I need you, Lord. More than a heart can hold. I need you, Lord. More than a heart can hold. More than a heart can hold. Join us. More than a heart can hold. More than a heart can hold. More than a heart can hold. Baby, there's more heart can hold between us. Ooh.
Patty Barkus and Trisha.
More Lynch, Patty Barkus, and Trish Ives, and the Unity Choir. Blessed be. Let's welcome in the Youth and Family Ministry.
We are walking as the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking as 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 the light of God. Perfect. Perfect.
Namaste.
Pay attention.
We had a very lively group today. And we talked about how Jesus taught the disciples to pray, and we talked about how we pray. And that was about lots of practicing and praying in our pageant.
Yes. We were also planning on playing some Irish games today, and we didn't get to that. So I'm inviting the children and the parents to come to the transformation room for 10, 15 minutes after the service so we can complete our Irish games and our music like I planned. So you may do that. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is our special guest, Michael. He's here today speaking with us. He's in green, too. You all look so beautifully in your leprechaun clothes. Michael, do you want to come to the back with me? And would anyone like to help pray with us? Come on. All right. Beautiful. Okay, let's go. Let's rise and sing our peace song.
It's all good, honey.
Today we will notice what we are noticing, that first little judgmental thought that comes up, and we will say, no, I'm awake. Together.
The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God upholds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed.